Hey, this is Jaryd Krause, host of the Buying Online Businesses podcast. And in this episode, I'm speaking with Kurt Phillip from Convertica. Now, Kurt's worked with over 600 clients, helping them convert more affiliate sales with their affiliate websites through conversion rate optimization. So he knows what works and what doesn't work when you're trying to optimize your site to get more affiliate sales or affiliate conversions. Now, Kurt and I specifically talk about how to track your conversions and why it's absolutely imperative to track things on your site, the performance of your business. Otherwise, you're basically flying blind. We also cover the best structure for a best of article and how to lay that sort of article out as a template. Now, we also talk about some tweaks that you can make to your affiliate pages to get the best performance from them, little tweaks that you can do. And last but not least, Kurt and I talk about business mindset and specifically patience and how critical that actually is if you're wanting to go down the path of making money online and actually be successful in doing so by not chasing too many shiny object syndromes. Now, this is such an incredible episode. You're going to love it. Stick around all the way to the end because this business mindset stuff we talk about is probably probably the most important thing out of the whole episode. Now, before we do get stuck in this episode, I want to tell you that this podcast is not the only way I can help you for free. I have my due diligence framework 2.0, which everybody's been raving about, which will actually help you know what to look out for when you're buying a site, including questions to ask the seller and everything you need to do or find throughout due diligence to ensure it's a good website business before you purchase it. Now, to get that, just go to my site, buyingonlinebusinesses.com/free resources. On that page is other awesome free resources you can check out there too. Now, let's get stuck into the episode. Kurt, thanks for coming on.
No worries at all. Good to be back.
Yeah, we're just talking that from you doing a bunch of not just my podcast, but speaking to a bunch of other people and posting around the place, and you're getting quite a good clientele base now from that. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and I think in 2021 we'll put more of a focus on it too.
Yeah, I like that. I love creating content with other people as well because it's fun and it's easy for people to just consume. So now I want to talk about conversion rate optimization in this episode, if that's cool with you. I know, people that are in your space or our space, I should say, is that, they'll buy a site or they'll have a content site, and a lot of them are affiliate sites, and you guys produce a bunch of content for them. But there's also, we can always get more out of what we've already got, right? Like, I don't think that conversation gets enough attention. There's a book by Jay Abraham called Getting Everything You Can Out of All You've Got, and working with what you got. And I really want to see if we can dive into see how people can not just get more traffic to their site by publishing and updating content, stuff like that, but like doing a better service by converting people to products to help them, with their needs. So I don't know where to start. I guess we'll start from the very beginning. If somebody's about to crack the whole worm can of conversion rate optimization, where should we be starting? Like, what's a good conversion rate? How should we be tracking that? Like, where would somebody start if they own an affiliate site to start measuring conversion rates?
Yeah, so on calls with prospective clients, when I'm doing a sales call, they'll ask the same thing. They're like, "Hey, my conversion rate is 0.5%. That's not very good, right?" And every single time I answer with, "Well, that's, I think, the wrong metric to look at." Now, if you're looking at your conversion rate on the site as a whole, there's so many things that come in to play here. Where is your traffic coming from? Is it informational keywords you're ranking for, or is it buy now, buy widget now type keywords? They're going to convert a lot higher. So how we say to get started is, where are your conversions coming from now? If you're buying a site off Empire Flippers, for instance, you have that data. They're basing the multiple off that. The reason that you bought the site for 100K is because it's making $5,000. Well, where is that $5,000 coming from, or $4,000 coming from? So we look at what and generally we've worked with 650 clients now, around 650 clients. And we do this for every client, where does the revenue come from? Where on the site is it generating the revenue? And generally, the reason I said,
like the main pages, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The main pages, or if it's an e-commerce site, like where are they flowing through? The reason I said we work with 650 clients is because it's the same on every single site. It comes from between 5 and 20 pages. That revenue will be split. Of course, there's different sites. If it's more of generally spammier sites, I guess, or like sites that aren't so niche, they could be spread over 100. But generally, most of our clients will have the revenue spread over 5 to 20 pages. So we'll look at those, and some clients don't even have proper tracking set up. So we'll help them to set that up and then get it all tracked properly. But generally between 5 and 20, and then if we double down again on that, it's probably around the top 10 pages. So we look at the top 10 pages for revenue generation and then start breaking it down from there. So that's how we start the process.
Yeah. So say people go identify, they already probably know, probably most of the traffic's coming to those pages as well. And that's probably why they're making a lot of the money, and they can really optimize that, those conversions on that page, which is great for somebody listening to this going, oh, okay, I've got like, 300 pages on my site or 100 or 200 pages on my site. How the hell am I going to, track all of this? So you say, get those top, 10 to 20. Where, like, how do you set up your tracking? Like, what are we using for tracking, for people that are like, all right, I want to make sure I'm tracking this correctly?
Yeah. So let's look at the most common, right? Amazon affiliate site. So it's very, very simple. Most of the sites that we've seen on Empire Flippers, or they've been bought on Empire Flippers, I'm using them as an example because your audience probably knows them.
Yeah.
But most, or a fair few of them, don't have proper tracking set up. They'll just have one sub-affiliate ID going to all the pages. And then you can track in the back end of Amazon somewhat, but what we recommend is setting up a separate sub-ID, affiliate sub-ID for each page. So you can see exactly how much each page is set up. Now, if you don't have that set up, I recommend setting that up and just running it for 2 weeks to a month, depending on how many sales you do. Obviously, if it's lower revenue, you're going to have to run that data for a bit longer. Yeah, so it's more statistically significant. But then once that is set up, then there you go. We did this for a huge client. They were doing about 100K a month. They weren't an Amazon affiliate, but they were an affiliate, and they just had one sub-ID across the whole site. We're just working. They were fantastic. They still are fantastic SEOs, and they were just trying to build out every page. But what it allowed us to do was not only from a conversion perspective, work out where the revenue is coming from, but what pages they should work on for SEO and put the budget into on the correct pages. So I think they saw their number 8 for traffic site was for traffic page was creating most of their revenue. So then they started pouring in focus onto that, and then the revenue came up even more. So it allows you to just manage it better, right? So it allows you to like know exactly the bits, because a page might be getting tons of traffic, but it might not be converting. And if you don't have the affiliate tracking ID set up properly, then you're not going to know that,
Yeah. In my community, I have a course, I have the Buying Online Business course and the Growing Online Business course. In the Growing course, I actually have a data sheet. I call it the Growing Online Businesses data sheet. They can download it, and it's just an Excel sheet and with some examples of things that they can put in. And what they can do is they can track different things in their business, like traffic and conversion rate and all these different things. And you can have multiple pages, and you can go as deep as you want or as wide as you want with it. But the good thing about it is like you're becoming conscious of what's working in your business and what's not working. And what I like about this, especially once you work out which page is bringing the most money, is not just, all right, cool, I can put attention to the SEO on that, but you can also go, all right, this could be like a pillar post or just a very popular post or popular article. You could build supporting articles around that to link to that main page and help it and grow more of a garden around that main sort of statue, I guess.
Yeah, and then you can go even one step further. Let's just say you have one page that's creating a heap of revenue, and then you can set up sub-affiliate links, different ones for each of the, so you can see exactly how much revenue is going through each link, and this allows you to get more transparent on your site. What gets measured gets managed, right? So it's like the more the more data you have, the better. And that's the great thing about internet businesses. It's not like an old business doing print and TV ads. You can track absolutely everything from inbound to outbound links and paid traffic. Like like my business, most of our leads come through Facebook ads. So we can track everything down to the exact cent on where it's getting spent and where we're making the leads and so on. So this is a great thing about having internet business there.
Yeah, we kind of call it a dashboard. Imagine flying a plane or driving a car without a dashboard and knowing what instruments are working and not working and how high you are and all those sorts of things. You're just flying your business blind, aren't you? Completely.
100%. It's a great way to explain it. Yeah.
So once we've gotten, a few different, affiliate IDs or, tracking on each different page, where do we typically go from there? Do you test out a few different things that you do on those top 5 pages out of 10, or do you just try it on one and see how that fares before you roll it over into more pages? And what would some of those things be that you may be testing for conversions?
Yeah. So now that we've worked with so many sites, we have a list of 10 things that have worked well on a similar site before. So we just go through and work through each one, and then we give the client a report on that, right? But one thing that we see the most on a lot of, again, Empire Flippers sites is when they're doing a multiple review, best X review, like let's just say it's headphones. I've got headphones on, so let's use this as an example.
Like a best of article, you mean?
Yeah, like a best of article. And we see it in more than 50% of the Amazon affiliate sites is when they have the article and then they have the review of the, let's say 5 products, and they've each got a blurb about the product, an image, and a buy now button. And they have them all down the page. Now, it's very hard for someone to compare the products side by side in this case. If you're reading, how do you compare the number 1 product to the number 5 product when you've had to read like 1,000 words or 500 words of content? You can't even remember what the first one's comparison. So a great easy way to increase conversions here is just to make a comparison table with 2 or 3 features of each that are different. Right. So I talked about this in an article on my site where we split tested the 10 Beast, which used to be a big tech site back in the day, like 2-3 years ago. And you make sure that your products that you're comparing hit the different consumers, right? So one headphone could be for gamers, one headphone could be for business people, one headphone could be for Zoom calls, one could be for music, and so on. So if someone's typing in headphones, best headphones review, you don't exactly know what that demographic is. So the best way to increase conversions is to do research and have a look at all the different ones. And then they're not going to, like, let's just say you did the top 5 gamer headphones. It's going to be hard for someone to choose. Of course, they're going to have specific things they look for, but it's going to be very, like, imagine if a business person was looking for a headphone or someone who's into electronic music, and then you have all gamer stuff, right? So giving a different option for each user works really well, and allows you to hit what, the intent and convert much higher. That's something that and this can all be tested when you split test, right?
Yeah.
So you can know exactly how much the increase is going to be. So, and if when you run the split test on the best headphones page, you'll know if, okay, maybe we shouldn't have the best headphones for Zoom calls because no one's clicking it. So let's replace it with something else. Let's do some research and see what other headphones are popular and try and hit the nail on the head there. So
yeah, excellent. And so this comparison table, do you see that you get good results if you have, say, it's a 10 headphones, for example, in the whole post? Would you say the top 3 or 4 in a comparison table at the top, or would you put it at the bottom, or would you have both? And
always at the top, at the top, yeah. Because most people aren't looking to like research a heap more. Yeah, they're not. They just want you to show them what they want. And generally, I can't remember we did a report on this a while ago, but it was something like 80% or 90% of the people don't go below the top 20% of the fold on all pages. Like we looked at this across a huge data set. People just want to a quick, easy, and this is why the comparison tables work well, and why the big long form ones don't convert well in terms of when you're looking for the review articles, is because people just want a nice side-by-side comparison. And a lot of them are mobile. Imagine having to swipe 400 times to get to the bottom, right? So if you have a nice
word article with
responsive,
images.
Exactly, which works well for SEO, but a lot of SEOs are on the technical side. They're not doing it from a marketing side, and you can tell straight away. And this can be used as a buying strategy on Empire Flippers. Like, look for sites like this.
Yeah.
Look for sites like this to optimize, because they could be losing 30, 40, 50% of their revenue by not doing this, just by not adding these features.
Yeah, and having pretty poor content. They're still getting, they've hit a keyword and they're getting ranked in, on a certain page, maybe not one, but you can see that content's not great. It could be easy to upgrade and change that. Mm-hmm. So speaking about best of articles, like, because we've kind of mentioned the a lot of the layout here with, like, at the top you'd have your table of 3 to 4 best of, and then you'd have 10 and you'd list out those 10 different products. What's the typical, and this is going to be, it's going to be niche dependent and industry dependent on the different products and stuff like that, but if there was an average of a template that was to work quite well for a best of article, how would that typically be structured? Would it be that table and then each of those different breakdowns of each one with an image and a check price or buy now price type thing, and then a conclusion? Like, what's the typical one that you see that's working quite well?
Yeah, so the best one that is a good baseline CRO template is a short introduction of around 150 words, then the comparison table with 5 to 10 products in it. 5 can work better, actually, because it's not giving them too many options. And then, yeah, exactly. And then more in-depth reviews of each below. Now, in the comparison table, you have a buy now button, and then below that, read more in a text link.
Right.
So you don't want to have 2 buttons that are confusing, right? So you don't want to have 10, 20 buttons in a comparison table. You just want to have, a nice, clear buy now button, or see on Amazon or whatever, depending on what the text is. You have to obviously follow the terms of service of Amazon, but, and then a nice small font, read more, just in case that user does want to read more and maybe they're looking for some factors. And then the conclusion at the end. But to be honest, man, a lot of people go on about, especially in these Amazon sites, content having way more weight than it does. Like, we do very little content optimization at Convertica in terms of, like, rewriting the content, because we don't want to touch a lot of the content because it can impact SEO. So we don't want to make content optimization to then it tanks the SEO, and then the conversions go up 30%, but then traffic goes down 50, right? So we don't like to touch content too much. It's more about, these tables make a huge difference when they're optimized properly, when they're giving all the information there for the user at the top,
Yeah. So that would probably be the number one thing to work on for conversion rate is adding tables in. If you were to choose 2 or 3 more, for conversions that are typically doing, helping these sites without changing content, what would those be?
Oh man, it depends site by site, but
yeah, okay.
Another one that works well for Amazon affiliate sites. I don't want to get too sidetracked from Amazon affiliate sites, because if we go into other sites, there's a whole new thing. So I'll just keep focused on Amazon affiliate sites. But for, like, singular reviews, so let's say it's a
one headphone.
Like a one headphone, like a more in-depth review about that one headphone. We've tested at the top, and this works pretty well, where you just have a little box saying, "Are you in a rush? Here's our link to our number one choice or our favorite headphone." And then right at the top, because there's no comparison table, right? And it's just a heap of copies. So that allows you to get a call to action right at the top. And that works really well for pages that don't have that. Just so people don't have to scroll on their phone like 20 times to get to the call to action.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's call to action, obviously, you mean call to action not to go to, like, if you've got the best of 10 headphones at the top, you say, do you want to know our best one, see more or click more.
Yeah, we can. We have done
it?
that.
Okay.
We have done that above the comparison table and above the introduction. Again, this is where split testing comes in handy. I don't want to say this works better or not, because 50% of the time it doesn't work better. So you need to test it. And that's why I said before, the best practices or the best template for one is 150 content at the top, a table, then mini reviews for each one below. But that won't work all the time. Sometimes it will work better when there's are you in a rush? Here's our number one choice at the top. Sometimes it doesn't. So that's where split testing comes in handy. But as for something that works well most of the time, like above 80% of the time, that one that I said before will be it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the 80-20.
Yeah.
And so I got a question from one of my clients in the mastermind, doing competition research and seeing a couple of different, best of articles, and they'll have, you can have a buy now or check price button, and they'll have it. They may have one, and then some of them may have a couple, like might be from Amazon or Walmart or eBay or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen people make more money by giving 2 or 3 different options for different affiliates per product?
We haven't tested it too much, to be honest. We have had a few like outdoor sites that don't make a lot from Amazon. So then they've obviously, when Amazon tanked their commissions, and they wanted to test REI and Walmart and so on. But we haven't had anything come close to Amazon, even with the commission rate higher with the other sites. So I honestly think, from what we have seen, less than 50% of even the big affiliate sites split test. So it's like, I think they just do it and then they make some money off it and leave it. But from what we've seen, they don't convert high. You're better off just having one call to action there. For Amazon most of the time, obviously if your commission payout's gone down to 0.5 or 1%, you're going to look for alternatives. But I wouldn't leave Amazon and REI or Walmart on there, because like they're going to go to Amazon and you're going to get your shit commission. Like they still pay the same for the product, but your commission's crap now. So it all comes down to testing. Like if you want to test, because I'm sure there are isolated cases where having 2 or 3 will make more. Just split test it. You don't even have to split test it. Like just track it.
Yeah, track it. Track the whole page.
See exactly, like set up sub-tracking IDs and just see, obviously you want to do it over, if you're not going to split test, you want to do it over like a 3-month period, because there are anomalies within the months. Like right now, if you were to do it versus February, there's going to be a huge difference. Or in October, which is generally a slower month, you can't compare October with December, so you can't run those tests. That's why split testing is the best, because we've got clients still coming in now, and it's like a week and a half away from Christmas, but it's because you can split test the traffic live, and that's why split testing is so important. But a lot of people don't have the resources for that, so.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, because a lot of people, Amazon's have scared a lot of people, and they want to kind of de-risk away from Amazon. But the thing with Amazon, I think most people don't really see or understand, is that consumers trust Amazon, because Amazon is very heavily in their favor, as opposed to most of the other parties that are involved with Amazon, so, like entrepreneurs and business owners. But like I see that people will try and go and get an affiliate account with another person. It could be a smaller affiliate company, but that company doesn't have the trust or the brand that Amazon has. Do you see that even Walmart and like eBay just can't rival Amazon as well, even though they've got bigger brands and trust? Do you see that they're struggling to rival Amazon? And do you feel that consumers may go, well, I'd prefer to buy from those companies, outside of Amazon? Like, what do you see?
So if someone's, and we won't even talk about eBay or these other companies for trust. A good test to do is, if you want to test another affiliate partner, set a timer and then time, how long it takes you to buy a product. You don't even have to buy it, just get to the last step. From how long it takes you from clicking that button to the Amazon and the partner. Yeah. And see how long it takes you, what the difference is. You'll be seriously surprised. Like, think about how long it takes on eBay. It's like 7 steps just to get to the purchase. On Amazon, it's generally 2 and you've bought it. And that's all it is. It's not even so much to do with the trust. Of course, that does come into play, but it's more the steps. Like, if you want to, like, there was a few sites that we were working on a while ago with some gun affiliates that we worked on, and holy crap, I couldn't even work out how to buy anything, let alone making it easier to buy. Like, you had to sign up with a username and email, then you had to go to put your address, and then when you went to go buy, you had to put your address in again. They didn't even pull the data through, and it was just
yuck.
And they were wondering why the conversion rate was like a fifth or even less, you know. So it's more about they have an algorithm built into their site that's constantly split testing. That's why landing pages on Amazon.com.au look totally different to UK or US, you know, because they're self-testing and they self roll out the winners all the time. So everyone should look at Amazon. Like, if you all got an e-commerce store, just copy what they're doing. Obviously, don't copy it exactly, but with your branding,
so heavily on removing barriers.
Yeah, of course.
Their conversion rate optimization is probably the best in the world, one of the best in the world, right?
100%.
Yeah.
The amount of times, like, we live in the UK most of the year, and the amount of times I've come home from the gym, or I've gone down in the morning to get a coffee, and there's a pile of stuff that I didn't even remember buying at my door. And it's just because I bought it on an impulse, but that's what their masters at, is like making sure that when you come onto the site, if you want to buy it, you will buy it because your credit card's on file. You have to do one click sometimes and you purchase the product, you know? So
yeah. So for anybody that's looking to get started with conversion rate optimization, like, outside of what we've talked about, what do you think they should go away and do? Or, you know, are there certain resources that you think they should learn, or like, what should they be focusing on more than what they shouldn't, you know, some things they maybe shouldn't be focusing on? Like, what advice would you give to somebody with an affiliate site wanting to go down the route of CRO, affiliate?
So we've done a lot of case studies on our blog. I mean, that's not the only resource I'm going to recommend, but we've done a lot of case studies on affiliate, because for the first 18 months, most of our clients were affiliate. Now we're mostly e-commerce, but we've done a lot of case studies showing exactly how we optimized X and best review pages and so on. But there's a book called The Conversion Code, which it gives a good psychology behind conversion and experiences for a large agency. It's not specifically about Amazon affiliate, but it's more, it just gives you, it's like 2 years old, 3 years old. So it's quite up to date in terms of what's around, but it's more about a self education. Like, it's changing so quickly, this industry, that what works well in 2016, 17, it doesn't work so well today, but 2018 onwards, most stuff's still pretty current, but it's always evolving. But like I said, the best thing for Amazon affiliate is we were really the only ones doing it, like case studies and giving away information, especially in our earlier blog posts on our blog. So that's probably the best for Amazon affiliate. Just go to our blog and look at the case studies, and we show like how to set up split tests and how to do it all yourself and what to split test and what we split test on Authority Hackers blog that we did a while ago, and how we set all that up and tracking and everything to the exact detail, you know? So
yeah. Guys, check that out. Like you said, Kurt, it's changing so rapidly, and you're only going to create content as it changes, as you guys have your fingers on the pulse with these all the time. So is there any questions around conversion rate optimizations that I didn't ask that I probably should have asked for people listening?
Yeah, I mean, it's the difference with people who are successful at it and who aren't, it's just patience. It's something that we've lost in our society, and people want everything tomorrow, and they ruin their websites from it. Like, they just go in and they're like, I read this blog, I want to change this. We had a client that spent like 10 or 15 grand with us to optimize their website, and then a new theme came out and they just changed the theme because I don't know. It was like a new
Shiny
toy
object
or
syndrome.
something. Yeah, shiny object. So they've changed it. You really have to spend the time to test and track everything, because if you're buying a site for 100K or 250K, I'm saying 100K just because it's an easy number, but that's like on the lower side. Like, it's like a business, don't go in and just repaint your business and put like new signage out the front because you got a new graphic designer in and they want to do it. Like, go and track it all and test it before you roll it out. So we have these tools now like VWO.com, Optimizely, and we've done it. I mean, we've done a review of the top split testing software on our site too. There's different budgets, have different tools and stuff, because there's can cost $2 to $3 grand a month for a lot of these tools. You can go through and just test basic tests, like test like what you said before, test the 3 different partners you want to set up, and you can do that through split testing, and tracking. So
I'm so glad that you mentioned the patience thing, because I noticed this, because like spending a lot of money on ads in e-commerce when I came from e-commerce and moved into, I went content, e-commerce, sort of membership, and then back into content. And I noticed that so many people in each of these niches, or business models, I should say, most people just still don't have the patience in any of them. And they may try an ad and they will test 1 to 2 different ads against each other. And they could do that with conversion, some conversion changes that they've done. And they'll do it for, say, maybe a week or 2 weeks, and they just didn't get enough data in to see if it was going to outbeat the other one, and they'll turn it off and then go back to the drawing board again and again and again and again. And this patience thing is like, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I stand fully behind that, in that people online, or like you said, in our society, people lost patience. If you have patience in our society and you just slowly grind away in a forwards direction, you're going to come away with a win. You're going to come away better off than people that are rushing in a direction and then rush to change direction, then rush into another direction, and again and again and again. I know that because I was that person.
I think we've all been that person, and that's why you can resonate with it, right? And like, there's a quote, and I say it all the time. It's people underestimate what they can do in the long term and overestimate what they can do in the short term, and chop and change and do this, and like, no one can ever put in, like, I think we've been at Convertica for 4 years now, but it's been a slow slog, but it's consistent and having long-term goals. And when you write your yearly goal, like, sticking at it, even if the first 3 or 4 times fail, it's like, but we're not told that, it's like the current state of the new generation, or even I'm a millennial. It's like, even the state of this generation is not conditioned for that, because we can have anything on. In Australia, I was really surprised by Afterpay being everywhere.
Yeah,
because that's just modern credit, and the fact how they got around being called a credit device was amazing, and they IPO'd and everything. And it's just credit. It's just credit done a different way, and everyone's buying. You can see all these kids at work making $10-15 an hour. Well, I don't know if it's that low anymore, but maybe $20 an hour, and they've got like the newest iPhone. They've got the newest Apple Watch. I couldn't believe I don't even have an Apple Watch or the newest iPhone. Like, it's mind-boggling to me. And these kids are making, nothing. And I saw someone writing. Well, I saw someone put up a post a while ago saying, does anyone else have all their money gone at the end of the week because all the afterpay payments are coming out? It's just modern credit cards. 100%. It's just modern credit cards. It's because they're buying it right there and then with money they don't have, and it's creating this really bad culture in Australia. Whereas you don't have it so much in Asia because no one has credit. So it's like, I really noticed it when I came back.
Yeah, Will Smith's quote is, people will buy things that they don't need. That people will buy things with money they don't have to impress people that they don't like. I forget how the rest of the quote goes. And those people don't even like them either. So I totally butchered that, and I want to come back to your quote of like, I heard this quote, and I actually heard somebody attach a timeline to that quote that you said. People often overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year or
I
1
think it was.
month?
I think it was Dom. I think Dom said it on Twitter.
Yeah,
Who you
okay.
brought up before, Dom. Well, I think that's where
I
he
had a
did the
mentor that's
timeline
mentioned
thing.
that
Yeah.
to me as well. Yeah,
Oh,
many
cool.
times. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so true. Like no one wants to make $1 million in 5 years from now by reading 20 books a year and failing 10 times and so on. But everyone you talk to that's got to that level
did it.
That's what they did. But it's not attractive. They want to make it in 30 days or they want to make 100K in a month or whatever, right? It's very,
well, that's because
it's really
we've
weird.
got people that are selling us on, like, because I'm in internet marketing or online business, I'll go on YouTube and I'll get people, I made 13 million in, a year. And you're like, it didn't take you a year to do that. It took you probably 4 years of failure. And then maybe you made 13 mil in 1 year. It actually took you 5 years. And people don't understand, people that are younger than us don't understand that it probably took longer. And also what I tell my people in my mastermind is that they will set a goal, or even people that just join my community, they'll set a goal and they'll go, I want to achieve X amount in, I want to be making this amount per month in, say, a year or 6 months or 12 months. And I'm like, if you set that goal and you don't achieve it, the negative effect that has on you is really, really bad, because it means that yes, you failed, but that's a weight of failure, and you do it again and again and again. What happens is that eats away at you, and the compounding interest, with the bank account, that just compounding just doesn't go up, but it goes down as well. But the compounding of that negative effect adds up so much that you lose so much self-esteem within yourself. You lose so much confidence within yourself and your ability to achieve anything. And people just want to achieve these epic goals yesterday, and they can't go, I just want to achieve make $100 per month online. But no, I need to make 10,000 per month online straight away. But if you start off slower and you build that confidence, like, it's so awesome. One of my clients actually said, I want to post this amount of articles per week. I'm like, do you have time for that? He said, well, I can make time. I said, well, why don't you just post one per week for a month and half that, or, go under that. And the effect that had on him was like, wow, I've got so much more confidence now. He was happier. He changed his whole physiology, his whole mindset. And then he's slowly starting to creep up to do more when he can build on that capacity. But the negative effect of setting a high goal is just so bad.
Well, it's also, and this is, scaling and growing teams too that come into this. Like, if you start with one or two and then you develop the process, then you hire someone to do it. Then you hire 2 people to do it. Now we have 20 people now. And now I just do these type of calls or get on like high level sales calls and things like that. And that's about it now, but I had to do everything at the start. The first few clients we had, I had to set up the split test, but then I had to teach that process to another stuff. Now he manages, I think, 8 people under him, who also manage 3 people under each of them. And that it's hard if you haven't read the books that you've read, right? So if you're trying to give someone advice, but they haven't read the books and therefore have the knowledge that you have, it's hard to mentor someone or show someone the way, because they don't have the same. And I think that's why a lot of the guys in our circles have read the 4-Hour Workweek, because at least everyone has that basic foundation of the 4-Hour Workweek that you can all connect with and go, oh, I see why you're growing teams, or I see what testing means and so on, because he gives a good foundation of it all in that book, with the lifestyle side of it and the having time to focus and all that. But if you just come in and try to show someone that's been, I don't know, working at Woolworths and then try to talk about team scaling and then incorporating overseas and structure, it doesn't work.
There's
right?
a massive
so it's really
gap.
hard to,
There's a massive
yeah,
gap
exactly.
that they need to, yeah. I'm so glad we got onto that patience thing and mindset. Yeah, thanks so much. Seriously, thanks so much for coming on, Kurt. Where can we send people to check out more about what you are doing?
Yeah, so convertica.org/blog is where all of our content's published. You have to go back a little bit because most of the affiliate content is earlier on in the blog, 17, 18 sort of time frame. Most of the latest articles are on e-commerce. So if you're into e-commerce, most of the latest articles are from there. But yeah, we have a lot of affiliate stuff too. But
cool. Awesome. Thanks so much. And for everybody listening, thank you for listening. I also want to say that if you are in this space of, even if you're not an affiliate, but you're wanting to kind of slowly work out how to get out of this 9 to 5 thing and slowly transition and do this with patience, like we talked about, Kurt, then make sure, and other people that want to do this, is make sure after you've listened to this episode, send this episode to your friends that are looking to go down this path. They're not going to achieve it overnight, but if you just start opening up their eyes and their ears and their consciousness towards that, this is a viable path for them, I'm sure they'll be very, very grateful for you sharing this episode. I'd be very, very grateful because it helps me reach more people and help more people achieve their goals. So thanks again, Kurt, and thank you everybody for listening, and I'll speak to you guys on the next one.